This week, we are talking about a controversial film that was released in yield year of 2016. You remember 2016, right? It was the year we lost Carrie Fisher, Bowie, Prince, Alan Rickman, Gene Wilder. Hamilton became a global sensation. The election. It was kind of a rough year. And amidst all of this chaos, the internet lost their collective shit over an all-female reboot of Ghostbusters. The argument over the Ghostbusters franchise reboot was rife with sexism from the get-go, with criticism and outrage from the film's announcement and teaser trailer. So much hatred and slander levied against the production made it difficult to view the film through an unbiased lens. I watched the film the following year, Lorelle did not. With the film now streaming on Amazon Prime, it seemed the perfect opportunity for Lorelle and I to sit down and debunk, or bust if you will, the ultimate question. Was the Ghostbusters reboot actually that bad? Let's get started, shall we?
Thank you for educating me.
Lorelle,
Yes.
welcome
Mya.
to our podcast.
Mya, welcome to our podcast.
That was very creative
I am
and inspired. I'm so impressed.
We are
I'm
writers
shook.
after all.
We are so good at our jobs.
Yes.
Are you ready to talk about Ghostbusters?
I'm ready to interrupt you while you talk about Ghostbusters. So excited.
I don't like how this is going to go based on that sentence. I'm already feeling concerned.
I am
and
shaking
afraid.
with excitement to discuss this film and interrupt you many times.
All right. For
Yes.
anybody who didn't listen to the intro, we are not talking about the classic original Ghostbusters. We are talking about the
Actual
2016
ghosts.
the 2016 reboot of Ghostbusters starring Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones, Zach Woods. I'm going to try and remember everybody who's in this. Some weird guy who I think should have been Patton Oswalt and wasn't. Tywin Lannister, for some reason. That's a little Game of Thrones nod, because the new Game of Thrones series comes out, came out right now.
Which character are you talking about? I don't remember this
The
character.
one weird old guy had fired that gal.
Oh.
That I said.
Yeah, that would have been...
I was talking about Tywin Lannister.
No, wait, I thought you said he should have been Patton Oswalt.
I did.
Why are you talking about Game of
I was talking about Game of Thrones, and then you said, I don't know which guy you're talking about. So I explained Game of Thrones.
I don't know. I have no idea where we are right now.
I was just going over the cast.
Yeah, okay.
It's nice that your memory has failed you so quickly. Do I need to move you into a home? Is that what you want? Do you want to not have to think anymore?
Okay, shut up and go over the cast, woman.
Do you want me to go over it again, or...
No. I think we've got the idea. There were people in this film. Moving on. There were people. I recognized 3 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, and I only recognized one of them because you made me watch her SNL skits that one time. That's Kate McKinnon.
She's a hottie.
She's pretty great. Yeah.
Notice Lorelle did not say hottie. She said she was pretty great.
She was attractive.
Just in case Kate McKinnon would ever listen to this, I want her to know that I, specifically Maya Anderson, said that Kate McKinnon is a certified hottie.
I just didn't think hottie was strong enough of a word. So.
Whoa!
So, Kate. You know what you gotta do.
I just feel so insulted by you right now. Something about our new setup. We moved locations from the couch to the bedroom.
So for the ley lines, we wanted the recording to be...
Which, funnily enough, they mentioned ley lines in this movie.
Maya, that's why I...
Tying it all together.
That's right, that's right.
Be impressed, everybody.
That's right.
That was pretty sexy, Lorelle.
I try.
Wow.
Go on.
Alright, so there was a lot of controversy about this movie when it came out. I touched on that a little bit in the intro. But we're not going to tell you what we think of this movie until we start getting into our ranking sheet. Because yes, this week we chose structure and organization over chaos.
And the other word,
organization.
organization.
Over chaos. And we did, for our audio listeners, I'm crumpling the paper so you can hear that I'm unfolding it, just to make that extra clear. We did ranking sheets. I'm holding it upside down because I don't want you to see what's on here just yet. But, Lorelle, should we start going through our categories?
Yes, please.
Let me explain our ranking chart real quick. Let me take a moment to do that.
Yeah.
So we divided our film ranking chart into categories. We're going to talk about writing, acting, visuals, and directing. And then we're going to give everything a letter grade, and then we averaged out our individual letter grades to get our final grade. This is clearly why I wasn't a college professor.
This is because Maya and I wanted to replicate the feeling of getting a report card when you listen to our podcast.
Yes,
because we know everyone loves that.
Everybody absolutely loved that. I know I did. I loved being told that I was talking too much in class.
I fell out of my seat a lot. I think I'm not the only one.
Because you had vertigo?
No.
You just felt like...
I just fell out of my seat. Ask a second grade teacher. It happens a lot to kids that age.
They just spontaneously
fall
drop
out of
to
their
the floor.
seats.
That's called possession.
Yeah. That's what it was.
In your Bible-based school, they should have been doing exorcisms
Yeah.
right and left, especially with you.
Yeah.
Clearly no one has ever done
They
that.
had a comedian come in one time to entertain us.
A comedian?
He was really not funny. But
That's why I said comedian in quotation marks.
I think having like an exorcism would have been a lot more interesting. I think we would have learned something.
Everyone would have had a great time.
We would have had a good time. There would have been
laughter,
laughter, actually, unlike when the comedian did his shtick.
Yeah. You
Just
heard
saying.
it here. Exorcisms are sometimes more entertaining than stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Hot take.
All right. First category, Lorelle.
Let's see.
Let me open my sheet again. Just ASMR. Really get the full experience of me opening my
open
paper.
that paper one more time.
Sorry.
I'm going to eat it.
Included in our writing category is plot/pacing, dialogue, characters, and themes. Lorelle, what grade did you give
Am
the
I
writing?
allowed to share my opinion of this film now?
Yes, now we're getting started, so everybody get ready for how spicy it's about to get.
We can eliminate one of those categories because that film didn't have a theme, so I don't think we need to rate.
Okay. Yeah, it's true. Lorelle and I watched this film, and we were shocked that there was somehow no theme present.
I'll posit a few potential themes.
Please do.
Theme possibility number 1. Mental illness is evil. People who have mental illnesses are evil. That might be a theme. To go along with that. Spoilers if you haven't seen the film.
I don't think anybody's worried about that.
Janitors are bad people. That might be the theme. I'm laughing in pain.
Yeah.
That was... The third theme possibility I have is that people are mean to people, and sometimes that makes people evil, but it doesn't need to. Which of those themes do you think is most likely to be the theme they were going for?
Janitors are evil!
Janitors! Freaking janitors!
They're cleaning, they're doing the job nobody else wants to do, which means there must be something wrong with them.
No, I'm enraged. This film, now I can say my opinion, this film only filled me with rage and boredom.
We could only bury the lead leading up to the film ranking because we have almost nothing good to say about this film.
I need to get spicy now. I need to be real.
We should caveat this whole thing by saying I don't believe if you reboot a film and cast an all-female cast, it's going to immediately be bad. I absolutely adored Ocean's 8, which is an all-female reboot of Ocean's 11. I had a great time. It was fun. Everybody was talented, had a great time. I learned a lot about stealing things from other people.
Useful skills.
Yeah.
That you can apply in real life.
But I don't think that if someone says that Ghostbusters 2016 was one of the worst films that they've ever seen, I wouldn't necessarily go out on a limb and say they're a sexist. I think they're just an informed moviegoer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
don't even know.
Changed my grade on this so many times. I started out by giving the plot and pacing a B because I think that the opening scene with Zach Woods, who played Gabe in The Office, I thought it was really funny. I thought it was spooky and funny, and that was the only good scene in the entire film.
Maya, I feel like if the movie was actually good, the rest of it was good, and that scene stayed the same, you would be saying it was a bad opening scene. I think you're just comparing it to the rest of the film.
Maybe I would. I just also love Zach Wood's comedic timing, so that was the only time I did laugh during this movie. I'm not really kidding. There was not a lot of other moments.
I feel like there was one other joke that I thought was funny.
Did we write it down?
I don't remember which one it was, but there was one time when I was like, all right, you got me with that one. Oh, it was when there was, like, a character who was, like, they thought he was dead, and then he was there, but then it was, like...
yeah.
Someone else.
But you were the only one who laughed at that one.
That's true. Maya did not think that was funny.
I did not think it was funny even a little bit. But Lorelle had a good time, which is what mattered.
That was the one joke that I was like, that was alright, you got me.
Okay, so what grade did you give plot and pacing?
I think I gave it... 11 Fs.
11 Fs? I'm trying to save our Fs a little bit.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. I added the dialogue Fs to that as well. You just said plot and pacing. That was the dialogue plus the plot and pacing.
Okay, so
11 Fs altogether.
I gave the plot and pacing a D.
I gave it 4 Fs.
My comment in this is just the word disgusting. Because it's true. It was terribly paced. It felt so long. It felt like an endless purgatory-like experience watching this movie.
Yes,
and I love spending time with Lorelle, but I was just praying that this movie would end and that God would relieve me from the hell that I was in.
I was hoping the internet rapture would happen.
It was like
Hulu or wherever we were watching it would just cease to exist.
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that would be good.
That's not a plug. We're just telling you where you can watch this piece of garbage.
I was hoping that Amazon Prime would just wink out of existence, and we would not have to finish the film.
Dust. Thanos snap. Gone. If I could snap my fingers and get rid of one movie, it might be. I'd have to think on this, but in this moment, I would say Ghostbusters 2016.
I gave it 4 Fs. So if you can do the math,
so
11 minus 4.
Plot, pacing, dialogue, characters, and themes, you gave all of them an F.
No, I gave dialogue the remaining 7 Fs or whatever the math is on that.
Well, we have 4 subplots, so there should be 4 grades total.
We'll get to that.
I'm really concerned about Lorelle's math skills, especially considering you at one point were a teacher of children.
I didn't teach math. I mean, I did teach science, so there was math involved.
Yes, that is alarming
to
me.
No. This is what you have the students do the math and call it education.
Oh. Did you say you gave dialogue an F?
Yeah, I gave it, 6 Fs, so I miscounted that first time. 6 Fs to dialogue, 4 to plot and pacing.
You only needed to give it 1, but...
You're not the boss of me. Which one of us was a teacher? I think I know how grading works. Ask my students who received 6 Fs.
It's the spite for me. I think that's my favorite part of your teaching abilities. What did you give characters?
When I graded this, I was full of rage. I think it's important to note. Characters, I rated hateful. So there was not, unless you count HATEFUL, a letter grade. There was no letter grade for characters.
Can I just say this?
Are you mad that I'm not using a grading system?
I'm a little horrified because I can't keep track even a little bit of what you're even saying. I thought this ranking sheet was going to help with structure and organization.
Structure only provides a framework for creativity, all right? I'm jumping off of your grading system, and I am like
making your own.
I'm like, it's a trellis, and I am an air plant who is just like, balancing on the trellis, but reaching my green little spindly arms out into the open air.
I don't even know what to do with that. Do you hear what I thought of the dialogue?
Yeah, tell me.
I, who used the ranking sheet, gave dialogue a C because I have heard worse. I have heard worse dialogue. It's hard to think of, but I just know that this is not as bad as it gets. So I gave it a C because it was lazy and it was clumsy. And worst of all, in a comedy movie, it was not funny.
It was not funny.
It was so incredibly unfunny. I know that there have been content creators that have already talked about this movie, and they've already talked about Melissa McCarthy making endless jokes about soup. But there were at least 5 jokes that were solely soup-based. And you know what? Seinfeld did a soup joke once, and it was funny, and that was all you ever needed to do with soup in terms of comedy.
I'm not sure that she was making jokes about soup. I think she was just talking about soup.
She was just... I think it was supposed to be a joke.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was supposed to be.
I feel like now is the time, while we're talking about writing, is where I have to bring up the problem with a lot of American comedy films, specifically from the early 2010s time period. And it's that they were like, we're going to cast funny people and we're not going to write them funny jokes, because they were like, oh, well, we don't really need to write jokes because they'll just improv and they'll make it funny.
Well, I'm glad you also didn't think it was funny, because I thought maybe it was funny just because I didn't like SNL humor, but you like SNL humor and you still thought it was not funny. I like
some SNL humor.
Well, regardless. Yikes.
Yeah. Let's talk about characters. What did you say about characters? I'm not even gonna ask you what your grade is because I'm gonna be too mad about it.
Maya, I would rate this film ranking chart A++.
Now you're just pandering to me, just like Marvel.
We know how you love pandering, Maya.
I love being pandered to. It makes me feel like a whole respected and complex human being when I'm pandered to.
Alright, so for me, I'm just gonna ignore everything you just said like I usually do, but when it comes to stories, I'm all about character-driven stories. I need to be able to invest in my characters, and I'm also very particularly, I need like relationship-driven stories. So, like a character who's on an island by himself isn't really my type of story.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just
Sorry, Tom Hanks.
Sorry, Tom Hanks. So, these characters were not interesting. And I just didn't get their relationships at all, because they were like, we're mad at each other, now we're friends. Like, the only one who I kind of liked, I don't remember her name, but she was... Leslie.
Yeah.
Yes, Leslie. She actually, like, cared about her friends and actually, like, showed it in her actions.
Yes.
And was somewhat likable.
The rest were
Everyone else was just...
It's just cardboard cutouts of stereotypes.
Yeah. I wanted to like Kate because she had a cool vibe going on.
Yeah, but it was just like, a vibe.
It was just a vibe.
There's no character. She had no like, personality or
the
goals,
writing itself,
hopes, dreams, aspirations. There was nothing about these characters that made them whole, complex human beings, which I just use that phrase to describe myself.
The only interest that came to her character was in the performance by the actress. Like, the writing itself, absolutely lacking.
Like, so, just absolutely...
Just, at this point, I was so enraged, I couldn't use the letter grade anymore. It's not your fault, Maya.
You're like, you're right, it's your fault.
It's so bitter.
A little bit. I will just skip asking you and tell the audience that I gave characters a D, and I said, meh, hate some of them.
That's not a letter grade.
No, I said D.
Oh, I'm sorry. You did say D.
Those are just my comments on it, because at first I wrote meh,
Yeah.
And then, like, I think halfway through the film, I said, I hate some of them. And I'm okay if they die.
Yeah, right?
Which I
right?
think...
Like, when, at the end, the character goes in the portal, I don't even remember which one went in the portal. That's how little I cared. They could have all died at the end, or been dead the whole time, and I would not have
We would have been like, huh, good.
Good riddance.
Thank goodness. Don't want to have to deal with that again.
No wonder the government's trying to cover them up. Get out of here.
Like, they were really annoying.
They were really annoying.
If we can get rid of them, that would be great. Let's make their lives as difficult as possible.
I'm rooting for the government in this story.
And that never happens. That's a good segue, though. Just to recap, plot was terrible, dialogue was terrible, characters terrible, and themes, there were none.
Non-existent themes.
And that is the collective agreement between Lorelle and I. This might be the one we agree on most.
This might be the only time that we agree.
But it's only the
fully.
second episode.
But we've disagreed many times before we started a podcast.
It's true. That's what made such a beautiful friendship. It's the push and the pull and
That's
the antagonism.
Right. I'm gonna have to start pretending to like this film just to preserve our brand.
Please don't. I won't trust you if you
so
tell me you
when
like
it comes
this
to
film.
dialogue, I thought it was really well done. I liked how flat.
I liked that the characters had no personality. I thought it was like watching toast dance around on a screen.
And, I've always wanted to do that, so...
I actually would have rather watched toast dance around on a screen for 2 hours than this movie. Acting. All right, so acting we broke down into 4 categories as well. Casting, choices made by the actors, their delivery, and their physical performance. So, Lorelle, casting? Does it even matter in this movie? If it was such an unsuccessful movie, does it matter who you cast?
I wrote about casting, not the problem as far as I can tell. I rated it a B. And I wrote, okay, ? The actors are competent. Their lines make me want violence.
Do you think if this film had a good script, it would have been a completely different movie? Can we... at this point say the main problem is the writing?
Did you just ask me if it had a completely different script, it would be a completely different movie?
Yeah. I realize now what came out of my mouth. I'm going to drink some more coffee and kind of pretend that I didn't say that.
Maya, I do agree that it would be, with a different script, it would be a different movie.
Would it have been
I see what you're saying.
Better movie with a different script?
You're saying, is the script 98% of the problem?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Now that you've finished.
Now that I've finished mocking you, I'm going to agree.
Well, thank you for that. I would have been shocked if you agreed with me without the mockery.
No,
first.
that had to get that out of the way.
Thank you. What did I say? Oh, okay, choices. What did you say for choices? Like their acting choices that they made?
I didn't really write anything down for either choices or delivery. I honestly was like kind of blank on that. It was hard to really... I don't know. It was kind of hard to disentangle maybe the choices and the delivery from just how enraged I was at the bad writing. So
that was...
I'm going to leave that one in your...
The writing was so bad that it was distracting. What I said about choices was I gave it a D, and I wrote all wrong. Like, every choice you could have made, you made the wrong one. Melissa, the soup was not funny.
No.
You should not have talked about it at any point in time in the movie. Kristen Wiig's entire bit was, like, just making kind of gross, sexist, harassing remarks to Chris Hemsworth.
Oh my god.
We didn't even talk about Chris Hemsworth's character.
No,
It's awful. Yeah. He was not funny. And this is not a Chris Hemsworth hate because he's brilliant. In this movie, his character was despicably stupid.
Yeah.
Like, maliciously written to be stupid.
Yeah.
It's like they said, hey, you notice how we treat women in movies where the majority of the cast is male? Let's do that same thing and call it equality.
Yes, okay, so you've opened the door. I really wanted to say something about this because I was going to say, if you want to make a feminist film, I talked about this a little bit before we turned the microphone on.
Yeah.
But if you're going to make a film and you make 90% of the cast female, maybe even more than 90%.
Yeah.
you make the only guys in the film the bad guys and incredibly stupid. Just staggeringly dumb. That's not feminism. That's misandry. Yes.
And
that's not a good thing. That's not helpful to anyone.
Yeah. And because women are so frequently the ones mistreated on the big screen and given this treatment, if there is a slight reversal in which, like, in Ocean's 8, there are not a lot of men. The few men that are in it are cameos from the original, or the one guy's played by James Corden. I think it's James Corden's only good role on the big screen. But then the other large male character in the film is the villain. And that's pretty much it. But it never felt at any point in time it was malicious, treating men maliciously. This movie felt like it was treating all the male characters maliciously. None of them were funny. None of them were interesting. To be fair, nobody in this film was. But this was the only time I watched a film and said, I am uncomfortable with how the men are being treated in this film. I felt incredibly uncomfortable with how Chris Hemsworth was treated. Like, he was just...
sexually harassed in every scene.
Constantly.
And it's supposed to be funny because the roles are swapped.
Yeah.
We're supposed to root for the woman who is, like, harassing him.
In a workplace environment, she oscillates between being like, you're so stupid and I want to have sex with you. I'm like, if you reversed it, I would be furious, and I'm furious now.
I would be calling the police and sending them to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Also,
just to Hollywood. We can't give an address.
Know.
We're just going to say, there's a crime being committed against a man in Hollywood. Go, officers, go!
I love that voice you do. I'm sorry. I know it sucks to make fun of movies because people work really hard on them, and even in the worst movies, someone has done...
I'll say something bad.
Hard work on it, but
I'll be the villain. I went to film school, so I can be the villain here. Nobody worked hard enough on that film. More late nights. More hustling. Someone should have been pulling an all-nighter to make this work better than what it did. I really hope, please, dear Lord, never let them listen to any of this, because clearly this is incredibly hypocritical and offensive, but it is difficult for me to think of a movie that has made me more angry than this one in this moment. So no, I don't think people worked hard enough on this film.
You are so enraged right now.
I am.
The veins are throbbing in your face. It's wonderful.
You see the one eye's just twitching.
I thought you were trying to send me a Morse code signal.
Yeah, it's called, I'm clearly getting in over my head, and I might be sued for slander. Libel?
No.
What's the one? What am I going to get sued
Libel,
for?
I think, is written.
Oh, man, why can't I ever remember the things I need to? Salamander. Stop saying salamander. It's not salamander. Lorelle, look up what it is that someone can sue you for.
All right, sure. I'll look it up while I multitask.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about... I'll segue into visuals while you look up what it is I can be sued for.
I wanted to talk just very quickly.
Oh, you wanted to talk?
Yeah, really, really quickly, like an auctioneer.
Can you keep your face up to your microphone while you look things up?
Yeah, I can do both.
Oh, all right, here look at her go.
Here we go.
Wow.
Why did I Google salamander?
Should I just use your phone? Is that what you want?
I'm really good at multitasking. I just wanted to say about physicality really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Is that Kate good? Everyone else I didn't notice or care about. Except for maybe, like you said in the beginning,
Kate
what's
was
his
doing
face? Zach Woods? What is that
Zach
his name?
Woods, yeah.
I guess he's probably pretty good too, but
he's like
can't remember what I thought.
In The Office, one of the characters calls him, "Hey, the Birdman's back."
That's mean.
But I don't know, it somehow works. He's just got this, like...
He does
nice,
have,
awkward, flustery energy that's very satisfying to watch. This is going to
sound really creepy, but he has a good body for comedy.
No, it's true. It's kind of like John Mulaney.
Yeah.
Where he's like kind of a lanky man.
You can kind of weaponize that for humor if you choose to.
You should always weaponize your lankiness for humor.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Lanky people are just funnier. It's true.
Yeah.
Slander. Noun. law.
No, I didn't need you to look
the
up.
action of crime.
Can I?
And no, stop. Of making a false spoken statement damaging to a person's reputation. He is suing the TV network for slander. Defamation.
There's a defamation. Defamation of character. Yeah. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, if you just hold it in.
Well, you did not open with what I wanted to hear, Lorelle. I thought you were just ignoring me.
I wanted you to work for it, okay?
Yeah. That's what I wanted the creators of this film to do, was to work for it.
you were like saying you were going to reserve your bad ratings for in case we have worse movies down the line. I don't know what kind of garbage trash you're expecting us to watch.
Just you wait, Lorelle.
But out of concern for you saying that, I did rate the acting overall a B, so.
Oh, wow.
Because I was worried about.
That's good. I gave it a C. Except for I gave their acting choices a D. Because I was like, they were all wrong.
You perked up so much when I brought up a letter grade.
No, you listened to me. You followed my instruction manual. I didn't open it that time, so you can't be mad at me.
I did give overall grades, just for each of the, big subjects. Just so you know, I did.
Thank you for making my whole day. I feel seen and appreciated.
Unlike what we did with this movie.
Yeah.
Seen and unappreciated. Alright. Go into visuals.
So for visuals, I broke it down into, again, 4 categories. Mood, sets, costumes, production quality. So, Laurel, do you want me to just go through my grades quick, since I know you're not going to listen to my grades?
Yeah. Please go ahead. I'm tuned out already.
I gave the mood a B, actually. Because I thought that there were some good moments that were indicative of a better understanding of what would have made this a good film. The opening scene with Zach, which I really liked, and I had a good time, and I thought the movie was going to be good based on that, and then was incredibly disappointed for the rest of the movie.
Ironic that in this incredibly feminist film, the only good scene was the one staffed only by men.
I know! It's so sad! It's a testament to Zach and his, I don't know, understanding of the female gaze. I like them lean and lanky.
Who doesn't?
I hope Zach never listens to this.
He is listening to this. I sent it to him.
Stop pretending. Like, anybody...
I'm not pretending. I know everyone.
Well, you haven't introduced me to any of them, so I'm starting to question your commitment to this friendship if you have not introduced me to celebrities.
He had a haircut scheduled today, so he couldn't make it. Mm-hmm. But he would have otherwise.
I'm sure. That was a very convincing lie you just told me. Another moment. The first time all 4 of the girls go into the haunted house, there's a moment...
Was there a haunted house?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there was, yeah.
There was a moment where the door to the basement opened the sound completely cut out and it just swung open with no noise. Yeah, and it was so spooky, and that was the only moment where I was like, oh! It was one of the few moments that made me feel something other than anger, because I was just like, oh, imagine having a movie where it was like, just... spooky and fun, and you were having a great time, and there was like just this great atmosphere, and you didn't know what was coming next, and there was tension being built because there were stakes. This movie had no stakes.
It was
a vegan. It was a vegan movie because there were no stakes.
That was a good one. That was 1,000 times funnier than any joke in the film.
Which is sad, because I don't think that one was that good.
You know what? That was incredible, but...
Thank you, Laurel. Thank you, Laurel. I thought the sets were mediocre. I thought the costumes were not awful, but they weren't astounding. They kind of just looked like the things that I threw together for costumes when I was 12 and said, this'll work. When I was 12. Let me just repeat that age. When I was 12, this is probably what I would have come up with. They were functional. Yeah.
They served as clothes.
Yeah. Everybody wasn't naked. But that's
been a different film.
So yeah, all 3 of those were graded C, except I think, I don't know. Oh, it was a B-. I gave the mood a B-, which I probably should have gone lower than that, but I wasn't. I saw glimpses of hope and then was just disappointed. Mm-hmm. And I gave the production quality a D for accomplishing the bare minimum.
Bare minimum should have been what this movie was called.
Oh, snap. Lorelle, tell me about your opinions.
Alright, I thought the mood was confused. They didn't really know what they were going for. I think it was filmed like it was supposed to be funny and fun, but it wasn't either of those things. And yeah, other than that, like, door opening that one time, didn't accomplish being, like, even creepy if you wanted to go for a creepy feeling, so that was lame. Sets, I wrote fine, not remarkable. Costumes, fine, not remarkable. Mm-hmm. Production quality, fine, not remarkable.
Can we talk about the ghosts, then the design on the ghosts? Because
I would have
given that an F, I think. I hated it. It looked like a rejected ride from Disneyland, like one that they had workshopped and said, you know what? No one's going to be entertained by this, and this doesn't actually look that great, so we're going to scrap this, and we're going to do something completely different, and we're going to invent, like, Space Mountain or something.
So, as someone who has never seen Ghostbusters, any of the franchise that existed before this, whatever did exist before this, I don't really know anything about it.
Also, sidebar, I think that makes you pretty well equipped to talk about this without a bias, so I'm thankful for you, Lorelle.
So, I don't know what the ghosts were in the original film, but I went into it thinking that ghosts meant, like, spirits of dead people.
Yeah.
But then they had that, like, demon spirit flying around.
There was some demon in the...
There was no...
original... What was it called? There was something. Like,
but
Zod.
There was, like, no explanation for what do we classify as ghosts? Because it, like, switched to a totally different type of spiritual being without any, like, warning or, like... explanation of what it was.
To be mildly fair,
from?
I think the original did that as well. So I think that's a franchise problem.
But you can't get away with it when the rest of your movie is crap.
Yeah.
Maybe if the rest of your movie is fun and silly and devil may care, then that's okay. But, like, this sucked.
I really did enjoy the original Ghostbusters. I had a really fun time. It was a very fun movie.
Like, on visuals, I just wanted to add, like, I thought they were adequate in terms of, you look at it, just a still shot, and you'd be like, hey, that looks like a movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's colorful. Colors are very important to me.
Yeah. It was very vibrant. It wasn't muted.
Yeah. There's a reason I don't watch action films, because they're all washed out of color, and that depresses me.
Yeah.
So I need colors, and I liked the pseudo-tech. So whoever, like, cobbled that together, I enjoyed that whole, like, everything that Kate's character was messing around with. That was fun.
I thought it was fun up until there was one thing that they used that I was like, I'm pretty sure that's just a toy where you pull the trigger on it and it just goes, no, and it, like, lights up.
That's the kind of crap I love. Like, in Doctor Who, you see someone carrying, like, oh, that's just a wrench from the hardware aisle. Or, like, in Star Wars, where the guy's running around with the ice cream machine. Like,
that's true.
I love that kind of
They did use a Gillette razor blade holder as a comm link in Star Wars The
That's
Phantom
what I'm
Menace.
talking about. I love that kind of stuff. So that doesn't bother me. But, like, the visuals were pretty uninspired. Yeah. I rated them overall.
I didn't feel inspired.
No.
I was like, this makes me want to not write anything.
Yeah. It was you're right. It was the opposite of any sort of inspiring.
Anti-art, if you will.
Anti-art! Alright, directing.
Alright, Lorelle, why don't you go first with directing?
Okay, the only thing I wrote about directing was meh, I'm confused, and I rated it a D. So, let's hear your comments. I thought I'd let Mya take the reins on this one.
You're so sweet.
It's really not my...
You're so sweet,
I know nothing
letting
about
me do the work.
Please do the work.
I'm just going to try and read my own notes. What did I say? I said, did you even try? Mleh.
Hey, I wrote meh too.
I said mleh.
Mleh.
It was more guttural.
Yeah, okay. It came further down in the...
Yeah. I said the score, like the movie score, the music, sucks.
I didn't notice it at all.
Exactly. It was, a lot of times they just didn't have it, and when they did have it, it was that god-awful cover of the original Ghostbusters theme by Fall Out Boy. And I'm like, internet, I want to validate the people of the internet.
The internet gremlins.
You were 100% right to be mad about the Fall Out Boy cover of Ghostbusters, because it, and I say this with the most conviction I possibly can, it sucks ass.
Maya said it was bad, but I didn't understand. Until I heard it for myself.
You know, the original one was like all upbeat and poppy, and then it was like, Fall Out Boy was like, what's melody? What's beat? And they just went, something
okay.
In the neighborhood, we go, Ghostbusters!
The original had swing.
Yes.
The cover had no swing.
It was like the charm was sucked out of it. It's like they said, you know, Ghostbusters, that was fun, quirky, charming, interesting, an engaging movie. Let's do none of those things. Right down to the music. We're going to remake that, and we're going to make it bad.
And women will love it because we cast females.
Women will absolutely love it because we put women in it. And it's so insulting to me because I looked up what the directors and the writers of this movie did, and it was people who have worked on The Heat with Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock, which was a really fun movie, and it did a lot of writing on like Parks and Recreation and things that I like. So this just felt like a betrayal, because now it's like, it's not even like, oh, this makes sense because you've only done exclusively disappointing and bad productions. You've done things that are good. Yeah. Like, how did you royally screw this up so badly, knowing that you can do good? So bad. And for their choices and directing, I just said everything wrong. Like the acting, all the choices you could have made, wrong. Every choice you made, wrong.
It wasn't even a fun kind of a bad movie.
No, we were just mad the whole time.
I know.
What did we say? We said about Spider-Man. We enjoyed Spider-Man because it was a movie, not an anthology of poorly executed improv.
Okay, and I want to add that, like, so I was thinking about how would you make it better, and I don't think you can, but the story, the very, like, brief semblance of story that they had is a TV episode plot line, not a movie plot line.
You're 100% right.
So maybe they should have rebooted it as a series or something, but
God
help us.
I think that at some point Lorelle and I are going to watch the newest iteration of Ghostbusters, which looked like Ghostbusters meets Stranger Things and actually looked engaging and fun. And I had a completely different reaction to watching the trailer for the newest one than I did to this one.
Could hardly be worse.
Yeah. So at some point, if you guys want to see it, Lorelle and I will watch the newest Ghostbusters movie and give our opinions on that one.
Send us a message through the spirit world, and we
or you
check
can
our Ouija board.
And you can message us on Instagram.
Or you can message us on Instagram. The spirits won't be pleased, but you can do it that way.
I'd prefer people don't go out and buy a Ouija board. Please don't waste your money on magnets. Thank
Magnets? You. I thought it worked on marijuana. Isn't that why it's called an Ouija board?
Now that joke could have gone in the movie.
Oh, thanks. That was the joke. Okay, sorry.
What was your overall final score of this movie? Because I put mine into a score calculator. I averaged out my grades. I put it into an actual score calculator.
Maya was like professorial about her assessment of this film, and I rated it with my heart. That's like I did the Spider-Man.
Gonna be your gosh darn catchphrase for this entire podcast. I rated it with my heart.
It's not my fault you don't have one. Anyway, so what was I gonna say? Okay, so bearing in mind what Maya had said, if we should at some point in the dark future watch a film worse than this, I took that to heart and I rated it a D-.
I fully support that score and agree with it. Mine ended up averaging out to a D+. which not much of a difference there.
Surprisingly high score.
Somehow a D+ seems better, but it's not a huge difference.
Not a huge. I mean, at least it made us feel something, even if that was only rage and boredom.
Yeah, it'd be probably worse if we went into a catatonic state while watching it.
It sucked. That's my very brave opinion of this film.
I think that's a really good opinion.
It shouldn't have been an origin story, in my opinion. We all know what the Ghostbusters are. Even if, like me, I've never seen...
You could have just started with them already busting ghosts.
You could have started with them already busting ghosts. But maybe if they'd done that, Maya, they would have had to come up with a story.
Oh, you're right. They would have actually had to do work. They would have They would have had to think about plot and character and the essential parts of world building and storytelling and making an engaging film.
Remember when I said I didn't want to say bad things about the people who worked on this film?
No, we're past that. Thank you for making one of the worst things that I've ever seen in my life. Thank you for causing the internet to go into a rage. And about a film that was rebooted entirely with an all-female cast. And for making me agree with them. Do you know how angry it makes me to agree with the incels of the internet?
Oh, it was so bad.
So thank you.
I can't even for that. I can't even think of funny things to say about it because
I think
it gives us nothing to work. It's like I said when we watched the film, if you draw and you practice realism drawing, the closer you get to realistic style, the more people have to critique.
Yeah.
Because they notice the errors more.
Yeah.
This movie is so far removed from any resemblance to an actual movie, it makes it difficult to critique.
Oh my gosh, that's literally one of the best analogies I've ever heard, Lorelle.
Thank you.
Wow, that was good. It's true. It's like looking at an abstract piece of art and just being like, what do I say about this? There's a square here. There's a square here, and I feel nothing.
I think ghosts wrote this movie, Maya. That's why it doesn't feel human.
It had a ghostwriter.
That was funnier than any joke in the movie.
We said that a couple times on this podcast.
And it's not because we're funny, it's because this movie was terrible.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us as we talked about Ghostbusters 2016. Please follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, comment, DM us with movies that you want us to watch and review. Someone has already requested the Twilight movies.
That was me.
Yeah, Lorelle really wanted to watch Twilight. But we would love to partner with you all more. Thank you for everyone who's listened up until this point. We're so delighted that you're here joining us. Yeah, please keep listening. Keep listening so Lorelle does not keep making that creepy voice, and mostly so I don't have to be alone with her. Listen so that I am not left alone with Lorelle.
Listen so that she continues to be left alone with me.
Everyone, have a wonderful week.
See you next time.
Keep it feral.